I've finished. So this is the Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers, and it is 60,065 stitches. I started it January 1st, 2020, so it's taken me 4.5 years for this, embarrassingly, but it is finished. So let me give you some of the details. So it is stitched on 28 count Brittany, and it's in a light grey. It is stitched with DMC 115. I have lots left over. I've got 7 skeins left over, but I'm glad that I bought how much was recommended, because it's taken me 4.5 years, and even though it's DMC, they might discontinue a colour, and that would have been horrible if I got all the way down. So it comes in 15 pages, and yeah, I shall show you well, you can see the thread on here. So it's variegated. It's variegated, so you got brighter and darker parts. So I fussy cut so that I could use it for places to be brighter, to highlight places, and then I also used it so as a single thread, 2 single threads, when I wanted to keep the colour true. But then, so I'm moving around. I want to try and give you close-ups, but yeah, still be actually talking to you. So what was I saying? Yes, so I fussy cut it so I could either have the bright or the dark with 2 separate threads to keep the colour pure. But then I also used it in parts where it's like this big area that's coloured in. I didn't want it to be stripy, so I used 1 single length of floss and then doubled it up so I could do the loop method to start. And so that meant it actually blended a bit more, so it doesn't come out just one colour, but I really like that effect, so I'm glad I did that. It is a complete fudge fest. There are so many mistakes on here, but the good thing about having all those 15 different pages is that you know if you're going wrong by the end of the page, so you can start sort of like tweaking it a bit. And when you start the next page, it will line, just so it lines up properly. So there is plenty of places where you can just tweak it that little bit to get back on track again. So what have I learnt from my 4.5 years of stitching this? I've learnt that I enjoy it more when I actually keep stitching on it every single month. So recently I have been making this a priority at the beginning of the month to do my page, and so that really speeded up progress. I could really see it coming together, and so I enjoyed it so much more. And so moving forward with the project, I would definitely do that again. If I've got a project like this that's big, I do it once a month at the beginning of the month, so I make steady progress, because otherwise it just sits in the drawer and doesn't come out for months at a time. This really didn't need to take me that amount of time. A page isn't that much when you just focus on it for a week. So yes, that's what I have learnt, that if you work on it regularly, it actually gets done. So would I stitch another long dog big piece like this? And the answer is definitely yes, I would. I already know which one I want to do next and what threads I want to use. I really enjoyed using a variegated thread. I thought maybe that I would get bored. I worried I'd get bored before the end just using one thread, but because it was variegated and I was thinking about how I wanted that to be, I found that kept my interest. So I think I'd definitely do that again, whereas some people have a plain colour thread and a variegated hand-dyed fabric. I think I'd definitely go for, well, I know I'm going to go for a variegated thread again with a plain fabric. The advantage of a plain fabric as well is, like I said, it's taken me 4.5 years. It means I can wash this because it's DMC. It is the red, so I will put a stain catcher in the water just in case it does bleed and keep an eye on it. But it means I can freshen it up before I frame it. I've got off track about the next one I was going to do. Yes, I'm not going to start the next one just yet because I have another large project that I'll show you next that I'm working on. That is my focus for the beginning of the month, every month, and that doesn't finish until December. So I shall start my next one after Christmas, once I've finished Christmas stitching. Once Christmas Day is over, I'm thinking about a New Year start, but then it may be a Boxing Day start, so I shall see, but definitely not until moving on till the end of the year. So yes, this is how it is. So if you haven't seen, oh, arms are tired. If you haven't seen that last section, if you've been following on, that is the last row. So yeah, it was a really fun row, that bottom one. And got the lions in the corner. I finished with those 2 lions on the end. So yeah, that is the Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. I would highly recommend, if you haven't done a long dog, to do one because they are a lot of fun. So that is that one. Let's see what else I've been stitching. First of all, these are the DMC threads that I was using, just the normal cottons. This is what they look like in the skein if you haven't seen them. As I said, I don't mind that I've got so many left over because it is my favourite colour thread, so I will be using them in different projects. So they are just going to go into stash. So the other big project that I'm working on this year is the Tiny Modernist, and it's the tarot for stitchers. So every month, at the beginning of the month, I get 2 more cards. So this is where I am at the moment. So that was the first section, and then now we're down here. So I have the Chariot and the Lovers this time. You see that I've got the camera in different places now. So Chariot and the Lovers. So I've used a lot of my own colours. I started off with the colours that are called for, but then I've added in a few. I'm just mainly doing this from stash. The green for the grass is another variegated by DMC, but I used that instead of, in the actual chart, it's stripes, and I just wanted it to be a little bit different, so I had that in stash, so I've used that. So I'm loving this. Each card doesn't take too long, just a few days, a couple of hours stitching a day, and it's just fun, and I'm changing it up for what I like to use. And yeah, I really like this one. That was a lot of fun to stitch, and I'm excited to see what's going to be next month. It's nice to have something different that's not a big commitment every month. I was worried I wasn't going to like them. I thought, oh, what if when they start coming out I'm not going to enjoy doing them. I don't really do so much cartoony sort of ones generally, but yeah, I think that she's done these really well, and every single one I've really liked. So that is my Tarot for Stitchers by Tiny Modernist. I've only been stitching on one more thing, and that is by Bothy Threads. It's a kit. It's called Poppy Field, and it's foxy with some poppies. And so this comes as a kit with the fabric, threads and everything. I have swapped out the fabric. I didn't like these spots that can show through the stitching with the spotted fabric, so I've just changed it up for a fabric flare. And it's hard to see on screen, but it's very light clouds. It's called Cloud Blue, and you can see it in real life, the variegation, but it's very subtle. So this is where he is. So I haven't got very far to go on him. We are at that poppy, so I've just got these poppies to go. So not far at all. So I'm going to plan on doing a finish for this one. I'm just going to carry on stitching on this. Today is the 20th of May, so I'm just going to carry on until this is done. If it takes me to the end of the month, it takes me to the end of the month. So you can see on this side where I've backstitched some of the poppies and how much that changes how they look. There's a little bit more backstitching to do on Foxy. So around, to make him look fluffier, he's got some just round his ears and the sides of his face that make him a bit fluffier looking. So yeah, back stitching can take a lot longer than you think, can't it? You think, oh, I've finished, and then you start doing the back stitching. A week later you're still back stitching. So I'm doing a little bit as I go, but I wanted to also see how those poppies looked, how they popped. That's why I did that last time. So that is Foxy. So as I said, once I've done that, I've been looking in my drawers. I've got my drawers, all my cross stitch, apart from the floss is there. And then those drawers there, they are all with my cross stitch things. So it's got like my projects and also things like projects have got fabric and hoops and different things are in there. So I've been through looking to see what other things I want to stitch on. Now we're coming into summer and I've only got one project that I really want to stitch on. So all I'm going to have is 2 projects to stitch on for June, July. So I'm going to need some more. So I'm definitely going to be starting some new projects. I'm thinking about 2. I haven't decided which 2 yet. But I don't want to have too much because, like I say, I want to just carry on like I am, spend more time with less projects and just so they're not lingering so long. Because I have got others that I want to get back to in autumn and in winter. But I do like to do the seasonal stitching, and that's what I like to do. People ask me, they say because I've been stitching for so long, where do you put, surely you've got nowhere else to put any of your stitches now, because I like to frame them and put them up. But the thing is, I like to do seasonal. So at the moment downstairs I've got my spring, what's it called, Celtic Lady Spring, so I've got her up at the moment. Some other things that are just for that sort of time of year, so I like to then, when we move on, take those down and put others up, so it's like going round really, so that I see them with fresh eyes, so I enjoy them again. I am quite minimalist. People ask me also for a craft room tour, but I really haven't got that much because I don't keep stash. I buy what I want when I want it, so I don't have, it makes me feel stressed. It's like a to-do list. The more I have is more a to-do list. So like I say, I've got my threads there and projects and bags and things there, and that is it really. I've got a little bit of wool storage in the wardrobes, but there's not much there, so it means there's more room to store the things that are frames that aren't on the wall at the moment. It means I can put them in there in pillowcases or whatever, just to protect the frames until I want to use them again. So that's why I can keep on stitching, because there's always room somewhere for another cross stitch on the wall. Gary's not quite so keen. That's another reason why I've veered away from, I used to stitch on the Fancy Ladies a lot more, but I veered away. Part of that was because they were taking so long and I've lost interest. Once again, I might go back to them. Now I've got less on the go and I will complete them quicker. Perhaps that'll bring me back to them. But taste change, and Gary's like, oh, another big lady then. So I am sort of leaning more into the animals, and I'm really enjoying doing animals, and that's definitely a way I'm going to go. So we do live in the countryside, and I am trying to choose. I want to do more animals that are around us. So that's something that I want to bring in the home more as well, because we both enjoy that. Maybe we could have a video of some of the options to narrow it down if it's just going to be 2. But I would like to, I've got a lot of threads there, so I would like to pick from stash and get that down. I know a lot of people, they aim to have the full set of DMC, but my aim is to have as less stash as possible. So yeah, projects that I can already got the fabric and the threads for, I'll definitely be looking at that, but I think I should get some out, and things from magazines that I've done screen shots of things that, yeah, perhaps we should have a video to have a look through and see what the options are and what I want. Bothy Thread sent me a notification this morning telling me they've got a sale on, but heads up on that, ladies and gents, that if you're going to buy something directly from Bothy Threads, check with Wool Warehouse, because quite often their price is lower than Bothy Threads. I don't know why, it doesn't make sense. You'd think if you go direct. So I don't know if Bothy Threads you pay postage and packing as well as, whereas generally £30 and over you get it free postage with Wool Warehouse. So yeah, just check both sites before you actually order something, but quite often Wool Warehouse is lower in price. So yeah, when I did check, because there was one, well, I say one, there was about 3 that I particularly wanted from Bothy, and I thought I'd just go and check on the Wool Warehouse, and it's actually about the same price, if not a bit cheaper. And being a knitter as well, there's generally something else I can put in my basket if I'm just a couple of pounds less, to bump it up to the free shipping. So yeah, always worth checking that out. But I think, yes, I think that'd be a good idea to get my options together on the table. Let's talk it through, and perhaps if you're looking for something seasonal for this coming summer, then perhaps there'll be a spark of inspiration for you that you'll like to see as well. So yeah, exciting times, new projects. So thanks for joining me, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.